What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another video. This is the second video in our Should You Play series for all the classes moving from Vanilla Classic WoW into the Burning Crusade. As we know, the Burning Crusade is on the horizon probably within the next 2 or 3 months, right? So I'm going to be putting these videos out probably one every 2 or 3 days at this point. We are on the Priest now. So for the Priest, I've made a bunch of notes here. There's a lot of changes for Priests moving into the Burning Crusade from Vanilla. So I'm going to read off my list of notes here. We're going to break down what changes moving from Vanilla to TBC. We're going to talk a little bit about each spec in PvE and PvP, the strengths, weaknesses, playstyles, and how each role simply feels, right? So part one of this video, we're going to talk about what changed from Vanilla to TBC for Priests, right? So in TBC, Priest got a lot more powerful tools, right? We have the addition of Shadow Fiend, which restores mana, definitely pretty crucial for sustain. We got Mass Dispel, which is enormous in PvP. You can remove buffs like Divine Shield, Paladin Bubbles, Ice Block, and things like that. We got Circle of Healing, which is an AoE healing spell for Holy Priests. We got Pain Suppression. Now, this is a big one. Priest got Pain Suppression, so that's a massive defensive cooldown for Discipline Priests. We have improved scaling and gear itemization for all roles. So now in TBC, the gear will definitely affect Shadow a little bit better and healing a little bit better, better than it did in Vanilla, right? The itemization and stats in Vanilla was kind of trash compared to how it becomes in TBC. You got a mana regen rework, so spirit-based regen is much better supported for Priests in TBC. And then your tier 5 and tier 6 sets finally support Shadow and Discipline specs properly. So for part 2 of the video, we're going to move into talking about Holy Priests, right? And we're going to focus on PvE healing at first here. So, Holy Priests are your classic raid healer with a ton of great tools, right? They have Circle of Healing, which is instant, and it's a pretty smart AoE healing tool. We have Renew plus Flash Heal plus Prayer of Healing, so that's your main healing toolkit as Holy. You're absolutely great in 25-man content, especially, like, every raid is going to want at least one Holy Priest in there, and it scales extremely well with Spirit Gear and has a very, very high uptime. As for PvP Holy Priest, it's pretty uncommon, I would say, in Arena. Most Priests that are healing in PvP, you're going to see a lot of Discipline Priests. It's definitely still viable, but I don't know how high you're going to climb on the ladder as a Holy Priest, to be completely honest, but if you're going to be healing in PvP, most likely you're going to want to be Discipline. Really, all you're going to do as Holy is kind of spam Flash Heal, and it's not going to work very well. So I would definitely suggest against playing Holy in PvP and definitely lean a little bit more towards Discipline. So as a brief summary for Holy Priest, you are definitely a powerful raid healer. You have a very high throughput, and it's pretty easy to play, and absolutely not that hard to master. Very simple healer in terms of raid content. So for the next part, let's break down a little bit about Discipline spec, right? So for Discipline, PvP healing, this is the Arena healer in 2s and 3s, right? Discipline Priests are known for being extremely powerful in arenas. You have Pain Suppression, which is your big defensive cooldown, like we talked about before. You have Mana Burn, which is absolutely brutal versus other casters and other healer comps for sure. You have Power Infusion, which boosts your teammates' DPS by a lot. And again, you have Mass Dispel, which is a huge counter towards Paladins, Mages, and other Priests. You have excellent synergy with Warriors, Rogues, Mages, and Warlocks, right? So if you're running 2s or 3s, those are going to be the 4 other classes that you're going to want to focus on, you know, playing with. You have really good synergy with them. As for PvE, it's not very common in raids, but it's definitely useful. You get Power Infusion on caster DPS, gives you some active tank mitigation via Inspiration, and then you have strong single target heals, but for the most part, raid healing is going to be Holy Priests. So in summary for Discipline Priests, it's definitely a PvP focused spec, but offers a little bit of niche PvE support. Not very common, like I said, but you can do it. It's extremely durable and annoying to face in arenas, right? Any team where you're going up against a Discipline Priest, you're like, Jesus, you feel like you're banging your head against a wall. So it's definitely good for competitive players who want to control the pace of fights in Arena. If you're a healer and you want to be a good Arena player, probably Discipline Priest is definitely one of the ones for you. Now, for the next part, we're going to talk about everyone's favorite, Shadow Priest, right? So starting with PvE DPS for Shadow Priest, it's finally a viable DPS in raids. As we know, it's pretty much a meme spec in Vanilla, right? You get Vampiric Touch, which regenerates mana for your entire party. You get Shadow Word Pain, Mind Blast, Mind Flay is your core rotation, right? So that is going to be your main rotation. Not much different than Vanilla, but you're going to be doing a little bit more damage and you have a ton more utility, right? So this is definitely a utility-based DPS spec. Your value comes comes from that mana return and off heals. You will be asked to off heal your raid at times, but your main job is to just pump out as much damage as you can and regenerate mana for your arcane mages, because that is really going to be the purpose of Shadow Priest there. And it scales a lot better with gear in TBC than it did in vanilla. So in PvP, Shadow is an absolute beast in arenas and BGs as well. It does the dot pressure playstyle with fear, silence, dispels, obviously just a ton of utility coming from Shadow Priest. It has great synergy with warlocks, rogues, and other hybrid comps like druids. You get kind of like these high burst windows, but the best part about Shadow Priest in arena, again, is that you can throw those off heals when you absolutely need to, right? So, it's very fun, absolutely viable in TBC. Every raid is going to want at least one Shadow Priest for PvE. And if you're an arena player or a PvP player, man, you're going to have a good time as Shadow. So in a summary, it's great for players who love the dot and pressure playstyle. It's not a big burst nuker like a mage or an Ellie shaman, but you're going to kind of whittle people down. That's why it synergizes really well with rogues and warlocks, right? But you're definitely really hard to kill and definitely hard to ignore in arena. So what's my final verdict for the Priest class moving into the Burning Crusade? Should you play Priest, right? Priest is a core class in all group content in TBC. You have two amazing healing specs, one for PvE, one for PvP. It's one of the most impactful PvP casters. You have your utility DPS spec that keeps the raid running with the mana regen, that's Shadow. You have Discipline as a top tier arena healer, and then Holy as a massive raid healer and massive AoE healing power. So you're going to play a Priest if you want to heal or DPS depending on the fight in raid. If you want a challenging but rewarding PvP experience, it's not the easiest thing in the world to play Priest in arena, but when you master it, it's nuts when you're going against a good Priest. You're going to get a guaranteed raid spot, guaranteed arena spots, and you're going to have that control-based gameplay with strong utility if you're playing Shadow. So, in my opinion, if those are the things you're looking for, or maybe you've been a fan of Priest in the past, or maybe you've never played it at all, and you want to give it a shot for the first time moving into the Burning Crusade, this is definitely going to be the time to try it, because coming from vanilla to TBC, Priests just really become a lot more fleshed out, especially Shadow Priest. The class changes so much, and especially with the addition of Arena, I urge you that if you're a Priest player, especially a Shadow Priest player, take your Priest into TBC and do some Shadow play with a Warlock teammate in twos. You will have some of the best fun that you've ever had in your life. It is an insane comp. It's extremely fun to play. It's not that hard, and I think you're going to really enjoy it. So if you guys found this video helpful at all, drop a like, drop some comments down below, ask any questions. I'm not a Priest master or a Priest guru. These are just basic overviews of the changes going from each, from vanilla to TBC for each class. I think my next one we're going to do is probably going to be Warrior, so look for that in a couple of days. Within the next 2 weeks, we'll have all the classes broken down and out on the channel. Anyways, guys, if you want to watch me live, I stream on kick.com/hammerdance Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Follow me over there. And that's about it. Subscribe to the channel if you love Classic WoW. Thank you all so much for watching and listening in. I'll see you all in the next one.